Chapter 281 System Changes. Yes, come, drink. The rest of the people saw this and immediately said, "Hem." Little Oz responded, raised his glass, and started drinking. I have to say, a man's friendship comes out after a drink. As the facilitator of all this, Shajur-Ching held a glass of juice and drank it unhurriedly. No way, the body has not grown up. Drinking is not conducive to physical development. Shajur-Ching stayed on the Whitebeard Pirates for 3 days, and it was not until Little Oz completely made up with Marco and the others that he returned back to Mock Town, 2 days later. It took Shajur-Ching half a month to go out this time. The biggest gain is, of course, that the Sherinian system has reawakened. But the specific effect, Shajur-Ching had not looked carefully before. And in the past 2 days, he happened to have nothing to do, so he carefully studied the writing wheel eye system. Then, he had a very thorough understanding of the upgraded system. As with most updates, there aren't many feature changes. Among them, the only thing that has changed is that the number of evolution points generated every day has increased, from 200 per day to 220 points. And when the evolution point is exchanged for the force point, the ratio between the pupil power has become larger. From the original 10:1, it has become 20:1. It seems that the strength growth will not be so fast. With such a change, Shajur-Ching didn't know why it happened. But he could feel that his strength was getting more and more stable. Just as the foundation was laid too hastily and was unstable at the beginning, now this foundation is gradually being consolidated layer by layer, which makes him feel a little more at ease. Such a change is also a good thing for me, allowing me to go further in the future. Then, he injected all the 1,320 evolution points accumulated in the past 6 days into Sherinian. Then, he opened the long-lost system panel. Host, Shajur-Ching. Writing wheel eye state, kaleidoscope 12,470 50,000ths. Pupil power, 75/100ths. Strength, 392. Skills, Chidori series, Thunderbolt series ninjutsu, new ninjutsu lightning armor, flying thunder sword. Illusion series, 3 body art, shadow clone art, 3 color hockey, marine rokushiki. Swordsman swordsmanship, Yi Dao Lu. Libo, profound truth. Destroyed, continued sun. By the port. Lord Shajur-Ching, you are back. It was still Anna who greeted Shajur-Ching by the port. Shajur-Ching said to this Isho, "It's hard work." "It's not hard work, it's my honor." Hearing Shajur-Ching's words, a hint of pink flashed on Anna's head, and her voice became gentle. "Let's go and see your development. It's been more than half a month. Let's see how our summer chamber of commerce is developing now." Shajur-Ching said to Anna behind him. "Good." Anna nodded in response, then followed behind Anna and walked towards all parts of the summer chamber of commerce. Commercial Medicine Department. Didia, who was waiting outside, couldn't help but be surprised when she saw Shajur-Ching. When she was about to open her mouth to greet her, she was stopped by Shajur-Ching. He signed and said, "I'll just take a look at it without disturbing them. These medicines must be dried before proceeding to the next step, otherwise, the efficacy of the medicine will be greatly reduced. And these, poisonous parts, must be completely removed, otherwise, something will definitely happen. There is also this Ekita flower, only its petals can be used as medicine, and the rest is useless, and it will be highly toxic when mixed with other specific medicines, it must not be mistaken." Chopper's voice is immature, but with the majesty of a doctor, it keeps coming. Chapter 282 Development is no small matter. As expected of Chopper, he is absolutely serious in medicine. Looking at Chopper, one of several doctors in the commercial pharmaceutical department, Shajur-Ching nodded with satisfaction, and then left. "With Chopper here, you should be at ease here. He will strictly control the safety of every medicinal material in the commercial pharmaceutical department." Research Department. How many times I've said it, you can't be wrong by a single point, and you must never desert on key issues. Isn't the fate of those who deserted enough to wake you up? As soon as he arrived here, Shajur-Ching heard Gils's roar. I saw that the scientific research department was filled with the smell of burning metal and other compounds, which made Shajur-Ching frown. This smell is not very good. It's tough too, Gilser. In the same way, he just took a look at everything that happened here. For the specific situation, he will find Gils to find out later. Next, Shajur-Ching visited the intelligence department, sales department, warehouse management department and other departments. Without disturbing many people, Shajur-Ching had a general understanding of the development of the entire Summer Chamber of Commerce. Anna, how's the Sky Island mobile machine going? Also, how about the development of instruments that can come and go freely between Sky Island and Blue Sea? After Shajur-Ching finished browsing all the parts, she asked Anna behind her. It should be soon. Gils is continuing to follow up every day, and with the cooperation of Enel, the launch date should not be far away. Anna replied. Well, this matter is very important to us. It will be a life-saving weapon for our Summer Chamber of Commerce. We must pay attention to it. Shajur-Ching nodded and said again with emphasis. Got it, I'll tell Gils. Anna nodded, indicating that she knew. Shajur-Ching asked again, how is the situation of the other branches? How is the development going? Is there anything wrong? Anna replied, it hasn't appeared so far, except the one from the New World is a little unstable, everything is fine. Hearing this, Shajur-Ching couldn't help squinting his eyes, his voice became a little colder, and asked, are you saying that Tezzolo is dishonest? It's not dishonest, or it's just that I'm not quite used to the kind of life that doesn't have explosive income. After their foreign exchange gambling industry became formalized, they no longer engaged in hacking and cheating, and their income was reduced by 40%. Some can't get used to it, so I've been warned several times. Hearing Anna's words, Shajur-Ching said, a behavior like his black and white behavior cannot last forever. One day, he will fall into the hands of others. Instead of doing this, let's cut off this danger first and save his life. Shajur-Ching sighed, in this world, not everyone will obey the rules. Just like Shajur-Ching, like Straw Hat Luffy. Such as world government. In the hands of Shajur-Ching and Luffy, Tezzolo's life can be saved, but once it falls into the hands of the world government, Tezzolo's life will be over. As long as Tezzolo has no use value, as long as Tezzolo's effect on them is exhausted, or Tezzolo's development is beyond their control, then, he is really dying. The world government will never tolerate the appearance of a person beyond their control. Chapter 283 It's just a joke. Let him get used to it first, and accompany me to visit various branches. Hearing is false, seeing is believing, our foundation has just begun, and this foundation must be laid firmly. Shajur-Ching has time now, just in time to see how these foundations of his own are developing. Anna answered and followed behind Shajur-Ching, embarking on the inspection journey. 7 days later. Shajur-Ching has a specific understanding of the development of each branch. However, on his way back, he heard a bit of bad news. This was heard on an island called Cable Island. Damn Summer Chamber of Commerce, all the medicinal materials and equipment I bought were crippled, and they had no effect at all. I took the items that I hadn't used yet and went to them for an explanation, but I was put off by their words. This has nothing to do with their Summer Chamber of Commerce, this is not something of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Quote. It's obvious that the seller is there, but they are blind and don't recognize people. Damn it. And this person's words are like opening a Pandora's box, and many people also said, I have this experience too. It turns out I'm not the only one who has suffered this kind of suffocation. I was deceived by nearly 100,000 Baileys, and all the things I got in the end were useless and unusable at all. For a time, there was a lot of people talking, and everyone was talking with indignation on their faces. They all say that they need to discuss an argument, to be fair, and to be just. But no one has ever come forward with a specific plan. Forget it. Let me say, the Thunder Hunter is a pirate after all. How could he give us the justice we want? Everyone, choose other chambers of commerce to buy things in the future. This time is a lesson to buy. Continue to entangle. In case of retaliation by the Summer Chamber of Commerce, it will be over. You are all right, Sigh. We were too young to believe in the Summer Chamber of Commerce, so don't make the same mistakes again in the future. To avoid losing people and money, and falling into an unknown crisis. In the end, it was the person who spoke at the beginning and gave the most specific suggestion, but this suggestion was an extremely indignant suggestion. That's right, the Thunder Hunter is behind the Summer Chamber of Commerce. The Thunder Hunter is Shichibukai, and he is also the partner of a terrifying pirate like Whitebeard. It's too easy to kill us. Also, alas, we are unlucky. This suggestion has been approved by many people. Don't tell me. I was thinking of going to Mock Town to complain, but I was stopped by a group of pirates and threatened. Summer Chamber of Commerce, hee hee, I think it's just a joke. This is a voice that came from nowhere, full of sarcasm. Hearing this, Shajirqing's eyes could not help flashing a gleam of light. Anna looked at Shajirqing's appearance, and couldn't help but sigh. It seems that there will be a bloody storm. After listening for a while, and after these people got up and left, Shajirqing stood up, looked at Anna, and then followed. The person they followed was the one who spoke first. When he came to a fork in the road, Shajirqing stopped this person. Are you? After being stopped, the man looked at Shajirqing and the two of them with vigilance and said, Chapter 284 Fat Sheep delivered to your door. Then, he saw that Shajirqing suddenly showed a hint of horror, and said somewhat uncertainly, You are the Hunter of Thunder. He was so frightened that he took a few steps back, and then gritted his teeth. Are you here to trouble me? I know that the upper beam is not right and the lower beam is crooked. No wonder those people dare to be so unscrupulous. So it is. An LT, P and GT. Ha ha ha, what is good to the people and only does business. I think it's just bullshit. You can only deceive children. This man had a deadly expression on his face, but, looking at his trembling legs and white lips, it was obvious that he was just stubborn. Don't worry, even if my Thunder Hunter is looking for trouble, I won't let you find you. Because that's too cheap. Shajirqing said a word. This person was a little unbelievable, and said, You really didn't come to trouble me. Of course, do you think you are worthy of my trouble? Although Shajirqing's remarks were very rude, it made this person feel at ease. I'm looking for you to find out what you said about the Summer Chamber of Commerce. As the head of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, I can't let my people destroy my signboard. Shajirqing said with her arms crossed. It turns out to be like this. Ha ha ha, retribution. Finally someone can come and punish them. Hearing Shajirqing's words, the man suddenly laughed, and the smile was extremely arrogant and happy. Then, he began to tell Shajirqing all the experiences of himself and others. An hour has passed. It turns out to be like this. It seems that it is indeed time to rectify it. After listening to this, Shajirqing nodded, and after thanking him, he instructed, You should keep quiet about this matter, and don't leak the rumors, understand? Because it is your own interests that will be lost. Okay, I see. The man nodded in response, indicating that he knew. Immediately, Shajirqing and Anna left. On the way. Kobo Island. It's too careless, I forgot that we still have such a branch there. Shajirqing checked so many branches, but he forgot that there was another branch on Kobo Island. This was set up by Anna and the others in the year and a half after Shajirqing disappeared. It's true that we forgot. I didn't expect that there would be a problem in that place in the end. Anna also sighed unexpectedly. If that's the case, then you can't let it go. The reputation of the Summer Chamber of Commerce cannot be destroyed by them. Anna will never allow anyone to do something unfavorable to the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Kobo Island. What kind of tricks are there in it? Let's see for ourselves. Shajirqing glanced at each other, and then walked into the Summer Chamber of Commerce on Kobo Island together. Welcome. What do you two want to see? We have everything in our Chamber of Commerce, the quality is guaranteed, and the two of you can buy with confidence. As soon as he came in, there was a man like a servant who walked over with a smile on his face and greeted the two of them. Let's just take a look. Of course, if you have something good to recommend, that's even better, just to save us time. Shajirching glanced at the servant, and said with a half-smiling look on his face. Then I'll be ugly. Hearing Shajirching's words, the little servant suddenly showed a hint of happiness. Shajirching noticed that after hearing what he said just now, all the servants' faces were full of playful smiles, and their eyes were even brighter. Chapter 285. It's hard today. Their scorching eyes, like encountering a big fat sheep, will be slaughtered fiercely. There are still people who go to the Summer Chamber of Commerce to buy things. It's a fool and a lot of money. Suddenly, such a mocking voice came from outside the door, but when Shajirching looked at it, there was no one in sight. Has the reputation of the Summer Chamber of Commerce fallen to such a degree? Shajirching turned around and said in his heart. Guests, don't listen to their nonsense, they are just jealous of our Chamber of Commerce business, so they deliberately sent people to interfere with our business. Look, our business was booming just a few days ago, but now it's turned into such a mess. Seeing that Shajirching showed a hint of thought, this little servant immediately yelled out in his heart, and then pretended to be very pitiful. So it is. Shajirching nodded when he heard the words. He still needed to know more details, so naturally, he had to cooperate with these people to play. Come on, let's see something. After Shajirching finished speaking, he went to the medicinal material area first. What kind of medicinal materials do customers want? All the medicinal materials in our Chamber of Commerce are genuine dry goods. Among the same price, the medicinal materials in our Chamber of Commerce must be the best. This little servant can really speak well. Shajirching glanced at him when he heard the words, and then Isho said, Is it like this? You will know after reading it. He picked up a medicinal herb and looked at it. Not to mention, it is indeed the real thing. This thing is indeed true, but I want to know where is the best part of it. Why is the most essential part of the Luotian bone in my hand gone? Without this part of the essence, this Luotian bone is a chicken rib, and the effect is not great. But you sell this thing at the original price, which is called quality assurance. And this full moon flower, without the core bud, leaving only the petals here, what effect can it have? If it wasn't for me who happen to know the goods, I'm afraid I really want to. Shajirching was interrupted by the servant before he finished speaking. I didn't expect to be a master of goods, which is rare. But so what? Boy, you have to buy all the things you touched just now. Your exposure has already affected the effects of those medicinal herbs. If you don't listen to us, don't blame us for buying and selling. If you can't pay the money today, I'm sorry, but you have to deduct the woman behind you here until you can pay off the money, and then redeem her. During this period, this woman is our product. We can do whatever we want with it. You have no right to ask, understand? This little servant looked at Shajirching proudly and said threateningly. It's true that if you turn your face, you will turn your face, without any hesitation, and don't want to cover up too much. Hee, listening to you, I want to leave today, it seems that I will have to bleed once. Hearing Shajirching's words, the little servant laughed, and the little servants around him actually gathered around and said, You are quite sensible, yes, if you don't pay a price today, how can you be worthy of the brothers? After waiting for so long, you should pay some hard work. Quote. Chapter 286. You can't bear the consequences. Hey, the brothers haven't had meat for a few days. Boy, if you know each other, let this woman accompany our brothers and have a good time. The eyes of these people are almost all focused on Anna, who is fair-skinned, beautiful, arrogant and cold, and exudes a celestial air. What if I say no? I don't think you can beat me. Shajirching Isho, with his hands in his sleeves, looks like he is not afraid of everything. Ha ha ha, did you hear me, brothers? There is another guy who wants to be beaten. If that's the case, let him know how good we are. When these little servants heard this, they couldn't help laughing. Then, they suddenly took out a phone bug, and they dialed it. They said, "Come to fight," and hung up. Then, they even closed the door, so that Shajirching had nowhere to go. "Boy, how dare you act wild here, you don't even look at who we are." "That's Shichibukai Thunder Hunter Naji-sama, understand?" "Who is that, Lord Naz?" Defeated Heavenly Yaksha Doflamingo, captured one of the three disasters, Jack of the Drought, and the terrifying existence of Katakuri, the leader of the three generals. Not to mention that he still has a cooperative relationship with Whitebeard. With his reputation, who would dare not surrender in the first half of the entire Great Route? Under his reputation, who would dare to make trouble on our summer Chamber of Commerce? One of the servants sneered, "I want to see if you dare to do it later. However, before you do it, I advise you to think clearly. If you dare to hurt us, you are slapping Lord Naz in the face. Such consequences, I don't know if you can bear it." This little servant, he really can pull the flag on the tiger's skin, and threaten to do it all. I'm thinking, if Nasu, the Thunder Hunter, knew that he had a group of men like you, he would definitely vomit blood. When Shajirching heard the threats from these people, she couldn't help laughing. Does he need to be afraid of this threat? Of course not. Could he still take revenge on himself? Hey, you don't have to worry about this. Boy, it's too late for you to regret it now. Otherwise, you will know what regret is when you make a big mistake later. You don't have to think about destroying the gate and running out. The gate is made of fine steel, and there are not many people who can break open the first half of the entire Great Route. These people continued to threaten. Regret? No, I never need to regret it. Shajirching smiled again. You are worthy enough to make me regret it. I'm sorry, you are not worthy. Okay, the path is yours to choose. Since you don't eat and drink fines when you toast, let's show you our methods. It was the first that the little servant said with such a murderous face. Behind the two of Shajirching, there also appeared a group of people with various weapons. All faces were fierce, and they didn't seem to be good. You or I? Looking at this scene, Shajirching glanced at Anna and asked. Come on, let me see if they have the ability to conquer me. Anna's face was gloomy, dripping water, and her phoenix eyes were filled with boiling murderous intent. Boy, your doomsday is here, now surrender and pay the ransom, I can spare you, otherwise. Still the first servant, he wanted to continue threatening Shajirching, but he was interrupted halfway through. Chapter 287 to this extent. Anna, who just listened, said in a very cold tone, I thought you were so loud, what surprises could you give me? I thought you would call out a few pirates with a bounty of over 100 million to entertain me. Is it only to this extent? Quote. It's really hard for you to keep a bunch of thugs with a bounty of 5 to 20 million Bailey. With that said, Anna turned to look at the boy who started the youngest again. If I read correctly, you should be the speaking JN with a bounty of 12 million Bailey, right? Hearing Anna's words, the young servant who spoke first couldn't help squinting and said, I didn't expect you to know me. It seems that we have met an expert this time. However, so what? We are the people of the Thunder Hunter. Since you know me, you should know the horror of the Thunder Hunter. You should think clearly about what will happen to us. Besides, do you think you can compete with us just by being a weak woman? Jia Jian couldn't help but snorted coldly, his face full of pride, completely fearless. They have repeatedly mentioned the name of Thunder Hunter, as if this name will definitely deter all those who want to make trouble. Woman, surrender quickly, and then lie down on your stomach. If you can please the uncle and us, you may be able to let you live. That's right, woman, do you think you can fight us with your little arms and thin legs? Give it up, your role is just for us to vent. Yes, woman, let's get started, or we'll be rough later. These people were all talking dirty words, making Anna's face colder and colder. Competing with you? Huh, that's the most ridiculous thing I've heard this year. Anna's mouth was full of disdain. She looked at Jiajian and the others and said, if you want to fight with me, at least you have to prepare a warship. You guys. As she was talking, Anna, who saw it, stretched out her hand and said, I'm afraid it won't be enough to put my teeth in. Then, a piece of flying clay flew out, and there was a whistling sound that cut through the sky, and it turned into a huge lion head and wrapped it towards these people. Not good. In the face of the flying clay lion head, these people suddenly felt an extremely dangerous breath coming, and they all retreated quickly. Hide, where can you hide? Seeing this, Anna snorted, and the lion head instantly turned into a tentacle, rushing towards everyone precisely. Ah! This tentacle pierced the air directly, reaching the speed of sound. How could these people react? And all of them were suddenly swept away. Why, you were so arrogant just now, but your hands wilted as soon as you freeze them, soft-footed shrimps. Looking at these people who were swept away, Anna said with a look of contempt. She continued, with your little strength, you also want me to lie down in front of you and become the target of your venting. You really know how to eat swan meat. Damn. Stop looking down on people. Don't be too arrogant. Listening to Anna's extremely humiliating words, how could these people hold back, and immediately rushed over again with a roar. PFF'd. But their results can be imagined. In the face of Anna, how could they be opponents and be pumped out again? Chapter 288 Who are you? Then, they were bound by Anna's clay tentacles without any resistance. Why, are you all capable of this? I haven't even started the warm-up yet, so you can't do it. Anna looked down at the captives in front of her, her face full of mockery. Who the hell are you? When did you have such a powerful woman on the great route? A pirate looked at Anna in horror and asked loudly. No matter how much he thought about it in his mind, he couldn't find a look similar to Anna. Because he didn't think about it at all. HMPH, ants don't need to know so much, besides, you don't deserve to know my identity. Anna snorted coldly when she heard the words, extremely proud. Damn, stop being arrogant, woman, who are you looking down on? The pirate suddenly said with anger on his face, all the blue veins on his forehead. Why does Anna look down on them? HMPH, I want to see how long you can be proud. To tell you the truth, our branch president is already on his way after getting my report. Don't think that you can suppress us, it's amazing. In front of our president, you are just an ant. There is a big pirate guard with a bounty of 200 million beside him. Hey, I want to see how you escaped from our branch president. At that time, I must make you kneel in front of me and beg like a dog to ask for my forgiveness. It was another pirate who spoke, and he was extremely fearless, and his eyes were extremely fierce. It seems that in his eyes, this branch president must be invincible. You are clever, and you know how to inform your branch president, but you haven't spent so long in the sea in vain. Shajirqing's voice suddenly came over, full of jokes and ridicule. How about it? You are afraid. If you know you are afraid, let us go quickly. Maybe I can intercede for you in front of the branch president, so that you will not be hurt. Hearing Shajirqing's words, another pirate immediately opened his mouth and threatened, his face full of complacency. He thought Shajirqing was afraid. But will Shajirqing be afraid? I'm afraid I'm joking. Afraid? Hee hee, how can you tell that I am afraid? Even if your branch president really appears in front of me, I will be afraid if I don't see it. Shajirqing glanced at these people and said, if you live peacefully on the sea, maybe we can be at peace with each other, but since you want to participate in destroying the reputation of the Sha Chamber of Commerce, I'm sorry, today whoever came. At this point, Shajirqing's tone suddenly became extremely cold. You all have to die. This sentence, like coming from the Nine Nether Hell, with a strong chill and fierceness, made these people shudder at the same time. Boom. At this time, the iron gate behind Shajirqing and the others suddenly exploded, and then two figures of different fat and thin walked in. The skinny one exudes a bloody aura all over his body, which is shocking. And the fat one had a harmless expression on his face. He put his hands in his sleeves, and after walking in, he first glanced at the scene, then put his eyes on Shajir, and said, "Your Excellency, it's not good to ruin my business and hurt my subordinates." Chapter 289. Who gave you the courage? Well, admit your mistake now. I can still have a good talk with you about the compensation in the future. Otherwise, I'm afraid that you will come in and go out. These words are extremely plain, but they are full of cold murderous intent, which makes people shudder. I heard it. Don't hurry to beg for mercy, otherwise, you may not even have the chance to beg for mercy later. That's right, just kneel down and beg for mercy, don't think about resisting. Don't say it's you. That duo Jack who offered a bounty of 100 million back then, didn't he obediently apologize to our branch president? Resist. Quote. Hurry up if you don't want to die, our branch president hates letting others dawdle. Hearing the words of the president of this branch, those pirates immediately echoed proudly and shouted loudly. Hearing these people's words, Shajir suddenly laughed. Ha ha ha, admit your mistake. Compensation matters after the conversation. Edex, I want to know who gave you the courage. Thunder Hunter, I'm afraid he wouldn't dare to give you this kind of courage. This sentence, without the slightest emotional fluctuation, makes one's heart tremble. But this branch president is Eds. Hearing that Shajir called out his name, he couldn't help asking, "Who are you? How do you know my name? Who am I?" He, it seems that you have had a very good life for more than a year. You don't even know the abilities of your direct supervisor. Shajir basked in issue, but his words made Ed's pupils shrink instantly. But before he could speak, the thin figure beside him was already impatient. To make a fool of yourself, let me, the cheetah Benez, see if you are as powerful as your mouth. He suddenly rushed behind Shajir, grabbed a bright long blade from his fingers, and stabbed Shajir back. Die! Bonus shouted with an extremely ferocious expression. He wanted to see how capable Shajir was. Fool, come back. But at this time, Eddie's voice suddenly came over, and he was extremely panicked, even a little scared. And, what's there to be afraid of? Hearing Ed's words, Benners couldn't help but sneer, but he was just a helpless kid. He couldn't understand why Eds was so panicked. What's there to be afraid of? You can experience it for yourself, if you don't know it. Shajir said softly, then reached out and grabbed the long blade of Bonus, and then slowly squeezed the long blade. Hi! Seeing this scene, Bonus couldn't help gasping for a moment, only to feel a coolness rushing from the soles of his feet to his forehead. Squeezing his refined long blade with his bare hands is impossible even for him. He couldn't imagine how much effort it would take. He realized that it was not good, and wanted to withdraw and make plans. However, before he could react, he felt that his neck was suddenly locked, causing him to suffocate in an instant. How it's possible I am powerless to fight back. In an instant, Bonus felt his vision blurred, and he completely lost the power to resist. Boom. The next moment, he was liberated, but he also fell into pain at the same time. He vomited out a big mouthful of blood, and his blood was tumbling. Chapter 290. What do you need to forgive? Now Lord Nachi, and Lord Anna, how could you two come to this place? There are. Eddie's voice trembled incomparably, his feet were wet with cold sweat, and looking at his posture, he was about to fall to the ground. Eddie regretted infinitely in his heart. He blamed himself for being so blind, seeing the clay tentacles and not having the ability to recognize that it was Anna at the first time. He had to remember this matter after Shajir reminded him. Who else could his immediate boss be except Anna, the daughter of Mudflow? However, it is too late to say all this now. He actually made nonsense against Shajir and the two of them and threatened them. What kind of crime this is, he knows too well. But this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that Shajir discovered directly and positively about his strong buying and selling, cheating and cheating. For this kind of crime, he has 9 heads that are not enough to chop off. If it were someone else, he might be able to escape. However, the person in front of him now is Shazher Ching, the Thunder Hunter who captured Jack alive and forced Katakuri back. He can't escape even with his wings on. What? Thunder Hunter? How is that possible? When the bound pirates heard Ed's words, they were so frightened that their urine flew out. One by one was so frightened that his face was extremely pale. Who is the Thunder Hunter? There are famous strongmen in the whole New World. It is not an easy task to clean up them. It can even be said that their little lives are in Shazher Ching's thoughts. They never thought that Shazher Ching would actually come to the door in person. It's just that they have no eyeballs and haven't recognized it yet. You did a great job, Eds. I finally established the Summer Chamber of Commerce, and everyone worked together to establish a good reputation. However, you are doing the opposite, buying and selling by force, cheating, and exhausting all the reputation of my Summer Chamber of Commerce. You don't need to say anything to apologize for your death. I can tell you very clearly that you are dead. Including all those involved in this matter, I will not let it go. Shazher Ching turned around and looked at Eds, who was covered in cold sweat, with a look of disappointment on his face. I made you the branch president of the Summer Chamber of Commerce on Kobo Island. My plan was to let you pass this. An island that has put our name on the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Looking now, I was really blind back then. It was really because I didn't know who I was that led to today's consequences. Hearing Shazher Ching's words, Eds couldn't help clenching his fists and said, I really can't look at the amount of money I have contributed to the Summer Chamber of Commerce, or what I have done for the development of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Contribution, give me a chance. Hearing Ed's words, Shazher Ching couldn't help laughing at him. Let's let you go. For the sake of contributing money. HMPH, then tell me what contribution you have made to the development of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. An LT, P and GT. All I have seen is your destruction of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Now you go out and find out, when everyone around Kobo Island mentions your name or the Summer Chamber of Commerce, which one is not gnashing their teeth. I wish I could eat your flesh and blood. Hearing that, Eddie suddenly raised his head, and then indifferently wiped the sweat from his head, but his eyes were full of ferocity, and he said, that is to say, you really don't intend to let me die. Isn't it? Chapter 291 Funeral, are you worthy? Yes, do you still need to be forgiven? After hearing this, Shazher Ching nodded without hesitation. After hearing this, Ed suddenly laughed and shouted with madness, if that's the case, let's die together. After he finished speaking, he saw that he took out a starter from his body, and then pressed it down. Eds roared proudly, with you backing me, I won't waste my life. Thunder Hunter, give it to me. Let's be buried with you. Buried. HMPH, you deserve it too. Seeing this, Shazher Ching did not panic at all. She glared angrily, a kaleidoscope writing wheel eye appeared, and said, golden binding technique. I heard a faint, sound, and Ed's movements stopped immediately. Then, everyone saw a sudden flash of lightning, and then Shazher Ching appeared in front of Ed's and took the starter from him. VV supports Thunderbolt, this launcher is directly scrapped. Edex, if you have any other tricks, let's use them together. Let's see if you can continue to surprise me. Shazher Ching looked at Eddie with a playful look on his face and said. Damn, even so, is it still blocked? Ed said in a very weak voice. Looking at such a young Shazher Ching, Ed's only felt a surge of despair in his heart. Too strong, this man. In front of this man, he has absolutely no resistance at all. Nothing can succeed in front of him. HMPH, to be arrogant in front of Lord Naz, it's really too much. Anna's voice also came over, full of disdain. Anna, I'll give it to you, let's take it all with you. Shazher Ching took one last look at Ed's and lost interest. Yes. Anna responded with a slap, and she stretched out her palm and absorbed Ed's in. Even that Bonaz didn't have the slightest resistance, so he was wrapped in clay. Take it all with you. Shajirching glanced at the pirates, completely ignoring their pleas for mercy. Now beg for mercy, what's the use? Why did you go early? When Shajirching and the two came out of the Summer Chamber of Commerce branch, there were already some people watching from afar. When they saw Shajirching and the two, they didn't feel anything wrong, but they were a little surprised that Shajirching and the two were able to come out of the Summer Chamber of Commerce alive. But when they saw the pirates who were being led out behind Shajirching, these people couldn't help being surprised. Someone dared to attack the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Aren't you afraid of the Thunder Hunter's revenge? Aren't you afraid of getting revenge by Eddie? What background, so arrogant. But just when they were guessing the identities of Shajirching and the two of them, the appearance of Banaz suddenly surprised these people again. Who is Banaz? That's Ed's gold medal fighter, and the people on these islands have been oppressed by this guy a lot. Banaz has been arrested, doesn't that mean? These people couldn't help but guess. They all know one thing, that is, Eddie and Banaz are almost inseparable. As long as one of the two appears, then they will not choose the other one. By this logic, could it be that Eddie was also arrested? Some of these people thought in their hearts in disbelief. Chapter 292 Thunder Hunter. Just when they guessed like this and didn't have much confidence to be sure, the bound Eds just appeared in their sight. Wow! Suddenly, everyone present became excited. What did they see? Eds, the boss who was on the evil side of Kobo Island by relying on his position as the president of the Summer Chamber of Commerce branch, was actually being led away like a prisoner at this moment. What happened? Who is this person? He even captured Eds directly. Isn't he afraid of the Thunder Hunter's revenge? The people around were stunned by this scene. It was the first time they knew that there were people in Eds who dared to move. After all, before this, no one had dared to touch him. There was no way. Who let the person behind Eds be the mighty Thunder Hunter Natsu? In the first half of the entire Great Route, no one dared to provoke the Thunder Hunter. This name is even more terrifying than the title of Shichibukai, and it can shock the quartet even more. Just like the name of the four emperors of the New World, it has the ability to absolutely suppress and deter. Naturally, Shajirching ignored the surprise of these onlookers, and took Eds and the others, and went straight to the Kobo Island open-air plaza. Go, follow and see. Everyone who was very interested in this matter immediately followed. Kobo Island. Since everyone is here, I won't invite you one by one. As you can see, I'm going to deal with Eds publicly here. As soon as these words came out, the people in the entire square suddenly boiled, and they couldn't stop exclaiming. Since the establishment of the branch of the Chamber of Commerce on Kobo Island, they have been blackmailed by Eds all the time. It can be said that they were deeply hurt by it, and they hated Eds in their hearts. Constantly looking forward to personally sanctioning Eds. But unfortunately, they are not strong enough, they can only think about it. Never thought about it, today it becomes a reality. But, dare to ask Your Excellency. After a while of excitement, some people calmed down and asked curiously. Before they figured out Shajirching's identity, they didn't dare to be too happy. If in the end it's just an empty joy, then it's really worth the loss, and it will even offend Eds even more. In that case, they will have a hard time in the future. They shuddered a little when they thought about Ed's methods. They have all been blackmailed for more than a year. Why does Shajirching know nothing of the inside story? It's not because Idesh's secretive work is well done. There's a bunch of his eyeliners around the summer chamber. Anyone who dares to divulge the true situation of this Kobo Island will be greeted, intimately, by eaters until you give in completely. Therefore, even though the residents of Kobo Island were bullied badly, they never dared to talk indiscriminately, so as not to bring disaster to themselves. Hearing the words, Shajirching Isho, I can't change my name, I can't change my surname Thunder Hunter, Nachi. Wow! Hearing Shajirching reporting to his home, the crowd of onlookers could not help but exclaimed again. Then, someone took out his reward order, and immediately his pupils shrank into needles, and exclaimed, Follow the reward order. Above exactly the same. Really a hunter of thunder. That's right, it's really him. The onlookers exclaimed in excitement one after another. Chapter 293 You have today too. Thunder Hunter, you are finally here. Ha ha ha, Eddie, you have today too. Finally someone can punish you. There were tears of excitement. Because they know that their hard days are over. Then, let's get started. Shajirching said, then looked at Eds and walked away. I have nothing to say to you. Just cut it on the spot. Hearing Shajirching's words, Eds couldn't help raising his head, he couldn't believe it. Thunder Hunter, you can't do this to me. Eddie suddenly drank violently, and his voice was full of panic. Can't do this to you. Anna, do it. Shajirching gave her own answer with practical actions. Yes. Anna responded, pulled out the musket from her boot, put it on Ed's head, and said, goodbye. No. Eddie screamed in horror. He wanted to struggle, but he couldn't move at all. His whole body seemed to be clamped by iron tongs, and he couldn't move at all. Boom. The next moment, a sharp pain hit him suddenly, making him instantly conscious. Then, there was a strong feeling of the passing of life, and his physical strength was quickly taken away. Thunder Hunter hello ruthless. After only weakly uttering such a word, Eddie tilted his head and fell to the ground. Seeing this scene, everyone in Banas was even more terrified. Kill. But no matter how terrified they were, it couldn't change their ending. Don't kill me. I was wrong. Give me another chance. I really don't dare. In the face of death, these people can't care about their dignity, and they all begged for mercy. Ha ha ha, you have today too. When you deceived us, you were so high-spirited. Our poor pleading begged you but didn't see it. Now the feng shui has turned, it's your turn to beg for mercy, and we are watching the fun. Thunder Hunters, please, don't let them go. Yes, they must be severely punished, and they cannot be spared. When the crowd of onlookers heard this and saw this scene, they immediately became aggressive and refused to let these people go. I heard that everyone is unwilling to let you go, so let's cooperate a little bit. Shajirching glanced at these people with a good time, and then issued an extremely indifferent order. Don't kill me. I know wrong. Hearing Shajirching's words, these people were so frightened that their faces turned pale, and they kowtowed like smashing garlic, but before they could finish speaking, they all fell into a pool of blood amid the sound of gunfire. Good. Seeing this scene, all the onlookers immediately clapped their hands and applauded. My negligence has caused everyone to suffer. As compensation, the entire island can receive 50,000 Bailey's comfort money. I hope you can continue to support the Summer Chamber of Commerce in the future, and help me promote the Summer Chamber of Commerce. NLT, P&GT. Next, I will rectify the Summer Chamber of Commerce, improve the training and quality of service personnel, and strictly control the conduct of the person in charge of each branch to ensure that this kind of thing will never happen again. At the same time, I will set up an opinion complaint channel. If you encounter any service problems, you can complain in time, and supervise the various branches of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, so that our Summer Chamber of Commerce will continue to improve and improve your own ability. Thank you all. Quote. Shajirching said very politely. At the end of the sentence, he even bowed to these people. Chapter 294 Terrified. How polite, how did the people who came to watch these people have seen such a battle? Someone like Shajirching would actually bow and apologize to them. They have lived most of their lives and have never seen such a thing. Good. We support you. We look forward to the Summer Chamber of Commerce to be even better. The people also responded with excitement. In that case, see you again, everyone. The reorganization of the Summer Chamber of Commerce will be carried out soon, and I hope that the Summer Chamber of Commerce can satisfy you by then. After saying this, Shajirching and the two were ready to leave. At the end, Shajirching seemed to remember something and said, please help me deal with these corpses. It must be sure. These people responded quickly. The next day. I didn't expect the Thunder Hunter to have such great courage. It's terrifying. This guy is born to be a great person. However, I always feel that he will break the rules by doing so. I always feel that those scoundrels in the future will also ask us to the same standard. Some people are quite worried. Of course, his worries are not without reason. Shajirching made such a sincere apology for such an accident. Once they form a habit in the sea, their future business will be difficult to do. But no matter how worried they are, it's all going on and they can't stop it. After returning to Mock Town, Natsumi Young immediately launched a more detailed inspection. Suddenly, the entire Summer Chamber of Commerce fell into a high-intensity vigilance. This inspection lasted for half a month. As for the effect, there is still some effect. At least, the ills accumulated in the rapid development in the past have almost been cured. Because Shajirching once cold-bloodedly dealt with Eds and his party on Kubal Island, all the people involved this time were frightened and turned into frightened birds. I am afraid that the next Edex will be me. For this situation, Shajirching can only say helpless. Feeling these people regard themselves as executioners. Eds is a heinous crime. These people are just some mistakes in decision-making, causing some loss of interests, and they are not guilty at all. At most, the detention that should be held after the trial, the education that should be educated. Natsu-sama is wise. When these people heard that Shamuyang did not intend to kill them, they all kowtowed like garlic, and they were very excited. After dealing with these people's affairs, Shajirching began to improve the relevant management system. This inspection made him realize that there are still many loopholes in his management system. With this inspection, Shajirching also regulated the banner behavior of all residents of Mock Town. The so-called flag behavior means that after paying a certain fee, the residents of Mock Town can use the flag of the Summer Chamber of Commerce to go out to sea for trade, and use the prestige of Shajirching to deter other pirates without being plundered by them. The reason for the regulation is because some people are dishonest, they make a big banner with tiger skins, and they have committed pirates looting, which has seriously affected Shajirching's reputation. Regarding this kind of behavior, Shajirching said that once it is discovered, it will be banned directly. Since they don't cherish this precious opportunity, let them regret it. Chapter 295. One wave is not flat, another wave is rising. Naturally, after the banner of the Summer Chamber of Commerce was taken away, many people who had done the tiger skin to make the banner all regretted it. But unfortunately, it's too late. Since they have a stable life, let them feel the passion of the pirates. Another calm day. A month has passed since the spot check. During this month, the word of mouth of the Summer Chamber of Commerce experienced a decline, and then rose again. There is no doubt that it can rise, indicating that people on the sea recognize Shajirching's handling method. And Shajirching's instructions to the people on Kubal Island a month ago, they are also proceeding smoothly. Isn't there a saying that goes well, gold cups and silver cups are not as good as the public's word of mouth? It can be said that the permanent reputation of the Summer Chamber of Commerce was bought with 50 million Baileys. This business is worth it. Certain port in Mock Town. I finally got the matter of the Chamber of Commerce. It's really not easy. I'm exhausted. Shajirching was lying on the chair, basking in the sun leisurely, so relieved. Natsu-sama, it's not over yet, it's too early for you to breathe. Suddenly, a voice suddenly came from next to Shajirching, and Anna, who was wearing extremely hot clothes, came over with swaying lotus steps. Hey, Anna, don't bring anything like this. Just this sentence made me fall from good expectations into despair. This is not what a mature subordinate should do. Shajirching couldn't help but complain a little. This woman, Anna, is getting more and more rude now, and she is getting more and more excessive. What do you say? How dare I, Lord Naz? Anna pretended to be coquettish and said coquettishly, that extravagant sound makes people feel like their bones are crisp. Let's talk about it. What else is there? The chief manager of our labor, Anna, is here to disturb my interest. Shajirching had no choice but to ask Anna what happened. You have rectified so many people at once, and there have been shortages of personnel in many places. If you don't recruit people again, our summer chamber of commerce will not be able to develop. If we continue, it is very likely that there will be trouble. Everyone's work intensity is very high now, and they are already tired of work. When Anna heard the words, she first gave Shajirching a blank look, and then said, "Look at my memory, I forgot about such an important thing." Shajirching couldn't help but patted his head after hearing this, and then said, "Okay, then recruit people, you can discuss the specific matter with Jeers. I'll be there to check it out. Also, give 3 times the reward to the existing staff, thank them for their efforts, and calm their emotions." Listening to Shajirching's decision, Anna got up satisfied and said, "Then I won't disturb your tranquility, Lord Natsu." After that, he swayed the lotus step and left. This woman is getting more and more presumptuous. Looking at Anna's back, Shajirching said helplessly. 2 days later. What? The Summer Chamber of Commerce wants to recruit talents. This is a good opportunity, you must sign up quickly. An opportunity like this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and must not be missed. Maybe it was successfully selected, it's okay to try. Thanks to the good reputation of the Summer Chamber of Commerce all the time, as soon as the recruitment of the Summer Chamber of Commerce spread, it immediately got a lot of responses. Chapter 296 Evil Ace. Marine Headquarters. This guy is really rich and self-willed, and he actually prints this kind of thing directly in the world news. Sengoku looked at the content of the most central piece of the newspaper in front of him, and couldn't help shaking his head and laughing. The recruitment of the Summer Chamber of Commerce is published on it, and the specific content is above. I'm afraid this guy is the only one in the world who can do this. Sengoku thought so in his heart. He turned his eyes to the other side. There was a brand new reward order on it, and his expression suddenly became serious. I knew from the first time you were offered a reward that you were not a good stubble, and now it seems that it is so. Even the crocodile guy has suffered a loss in your hands. I heard that you had a conflict with Moria. It seems that it will be a scourge when you grow up in the future. Sengoku's eyes were placed on the amount of the reward order, which was as high as 200 million. More than a month ago, it was only 100 million, and now it is 200 million. With this growth rate, if there is no Thunder Hunter standing in front of you, you can really be said to be a generation of evildoers. Next to this brand new reward order, there is a slightly older reward order. The picture above is exactly the same, but the reward amount is different, only 100 million. Fire Fist Ace, who will be your next target? The only strong players in the first half of the Great Route are Natsu, the Thunder Hunter, and Mahawk, the Hawkeye who may appear here. Now you are planning to challenge them. Having said that, Sengoku said no more. Yes, the reward order placed on the Sengoku desk is aces. Mock Town. Everyone's participation is very high. Looking at Mock Town, which was crowded all of a sudden, Shajirching sighed with emotion. According to his rough estimate, the number is at least around 50,000. Yeah, I didn't expect so many people to participate. It seems that everyone trusts us. Anna standing beside Shajirching was also a little surprised. She added, but I think about it, as long as you become a member of our Summer Chamber of Commerce, the benefits you can get are not ordinary. It's worth their excitement. But then again, although there are more people coming, you still can't relax at all in terms of the assessment criteria. Things like a month ago can't happen again. This is the bottom line this time. I think you should be clear. Quote. This point, Shajirching must make it clear. Anna said, of course, you don't need to tell us, we know it too. I watched the Summer Chamber of Commerce grow up, and I will never allow anyone who makes a fuss to come in. This assessment lasted for a whole week. In the end, of the 50,000 people who came, only 6 people remained. Here, there are all kinds of talents, guards, scientific research, sales, development, manufacturing, medicine, and so on. It can be said that the people who stay are almost all elites. From this moment on, everyone is a member of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for trusting me, the Thunder Hunter and the Summer Chamber of Commerce. As long as you live up to me, then I can also tell you with certainty that I am absolutely satisfied. I won't let you down. Xia Qing's speech was quite brief, and there was no more words left. And behind him, Enel and others lined up in a row, full of faces. Chapter 297. You don't believe me. This is Enel, the immediate boss of your combat team. Your future training will be managed by them. Enel's deputy is Didia, and he is also your vice captain. Matters related to personnel appointments and removals are managed by him, and I can make decisions after reporting. Xia Qing began to introduce the people behind him. And then there's Tony Chopper, the captain of the medical department. Don't be so shy, he's a very reliable guy. Looking at the shy Chopper who started dancing, Xia Qing couldn't help showing a hint of helplessness on his face. And then there's Gers, the captain of the scientific research department. Many of the small devices you use every day are researched and developed by him. And then, Xia Qing introduced the people behind him one by one, so that these newcomers would have a clearer understanding of the team structure of the Summer Chamber of Commerce and improve work efficiency. Finally, Xia Qing looked at Anna, who was standing almost side by side with him, and said, I don't need to say who this is, Anna, the daughter of Mud Flow. She is in charge of all affairs of the entire Summer Chamber of Commerce. He is the third in command of the Summer Chamber of Commerce and, at the same time, my deputy. Quote, in the future, Anna will assist me in deciding and planning all affairs of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. If I am not here, her orders will be equivalent to mine. I hope everyone will remember this. Next, you should follow your own division of labor and follow your captain to work. I think you all know the relevant benefits very well, so I won't go into details. If you feel that the content of the benefits does not match, you can also first time to report to the law enforcement team. Anna and I will take it seriously. Quote. After speaking, Xia Qing looked at these people again and asked, do you have any questions now? No, these people shook their heads and said in unison. Then go, Summer Chamber of Commerce, it's up to you. Xia Qing said to these people quite politely. Then, these people withdrew. It feels like you have found a lot of things for us in an instant, Lord Natsu. After these people had dispersed, Anna looked at Xia Qing with resentment and said. How can it be, how can you think so? Not to mention, being looked at by Anna's resentful eyes, Xia Qing felt guilty. Without your guilty conscience, Lord Naz. Looking at Xia Qing's appearance, Anna couldn't help squinting her eyes and said. No, you must have read it wrong. Xia Qing gave a ha-ha, and then quickly slipped away. Being forced into this state by his subordinates, only Xia Qing was left. It's been a month again, it's so fast, I haven't had time to see her. Go see Hancock, it's not good if I get angry. With nothing to do, Xia Qing went to the Amazon Lily in the windless belt under the pretext of going out to sea to find talents. After getting tired, Hancock fell into Xia Qing's arms and asked, when can I let my concubine be with you forever? It's coming soon, that day is not far away. To this, Xia Qing can only answer like this. After all, it's really fast. You say this every time, and the concubine doesn't believe it. Hearing Xia Qing's answer, Hancock reluctantly pouted. Half a year, it should be almost the same. At that time, we will find a good place to live in seclusion and live our little life, okay? Upon seeing this, Xia Qing immediately gave a specific time. Chapter 298. Let you know. Great. Okay, then I'll trust you again. Hancock replied weakly, where can I see that this is the all-powerful Empress Hancock? There is no hockey sharpness at all. Like a weak woman. Fool, you don't believe me, see how I punish you. Xia Qing suddenly picked up Hancock and walked to the bedroom with a fierce look on his face. No, The concubine is wrong. Seeing Shajur-Ching's action, Hancock's face flushed instantly, and he quickly begged for mercy. HMPH, it's too late, even your husband doesn't believe it. If you don't punish you well, how can you know it's wrong? Shajur-Ching said, viciously, extremely resolute. Jia, accept the punishment, Hancock. Shajur-Ching looked like a big wolf, and after placing Hancock on the bed, he rushed over. No. Hancock blushed suddenly, and then, screamed out. People really know they're wrong. An hour later, Hancock, a man with sweaty head, was full of weak eyes. HMPH, it's good to know that you are wrong, otherwise, I will continue to punish you next time. Shajur-Ching's face was full of satisfaction. She threw away the long hair bundle in her hand, and helped Hancock put on her shoes. Yes, he said that the way to teach Hancock a lesson was to scratch the soles of his feet. Shajur-Ching said in his heart, those who think crooked should go to the wall and think about it. How could a person as pure as me be able to drive at high speed without braking? Shajur-Ching severely condemns those who think crooked. This time, Shajur-Ching stayed at Amazon Lily for 4 days, and after explaining to Hancock, he set foot on the journey back. On the way, he opened the properties panel. A total of 8,800 evolution points have been accumulated in more than a month. It's time to evolve the writing wheel I, and add a buff to the writing wheel I pupil power. Shajur-Ching first used 6,300 evolution points to exchange 63 points of pupil power, so that the pupil power of the writing wheel returned to its heyday. While restoring vision, it also relieved the discomfort caused by insufficient pupil power. The remaining 2,500 evolution points are all added to the evolution of Sharanyan. His current force value is enough, so he can improve Sharanyan first. It's nice to not have to wear glasses. Looking at the surroundings that were still clear even after taking off his glasses, Shajur-Ching couldn't help showing a cheerful look. It's a lot stronger again, Sharanyan. When Shajur-Ching thought about it like this, she looked at the genus panel. Host, Shajur-Ching. Writing wheel I state, kaleidoscope 12,970 50,000ths. Pupil power, 100/100ths max. Strength, 392. Skills, Chidori series, Thunderbolt series ninjutsu, new ninjutsu lightning armor, flying thunder sword. Illusion series, 3 body art, shadow clone art, 3 color hockey, marine rokushiki. Swordsmanship, Yidao Lulibo, profound truth destroy, Kanri. Mock town. Natsu-sama, it's been a long time this time. As soon as he landed on the shore, Shajur-Ching saw a bad-looking Anna, which made him scratch his head in embarrassment. What should I do in the future? It will not be turned upside down. Quote. Oh, sure enough, it's enough for a straight man like me to have 2 women, and 1 more brain cell will die. I really don't know how a person who can maintain harmony with 3 wives and 6 concubines does it. Quote. Chapter 299 I'm going to cut you. Then, he sighed and said, Anna, don't worry about this. When you have time to worry about it in the future, you can say this again. Saying that, he didn't know where he took out a gift box like a conjuration, and said, it's for you, take a look, it should suit your heart. HMPH, don't bribe me, I'm responsible for the Summer Chamber of Commerce. As the president, you can't mess around. While talking, Anna opened the gift box. Then, her words came to an abrupt end, and she said with a look of surprise, "Is the contents here for me?" Of course. Shajur-Ching breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing Anna's appearance. HMPH, there is nothing to be courteous, either a traitor or a thief. Hearing this, Anna snorted very happily, but she still pretended to be very serious. Then, just when Shajur-Ching thought she was going to talk about business affairs, she suddenly changed the topic and said, however, it seems that you are so sincere, I will forgive you, Lord Natsu. Hearing Anna's words, Shajur-Ching couldn't help sighing again, thinking, it's really a woman's heart needle. Then, He disembarked and came, and Anna, her eyes were completely attracted by the contents of this exquisite gift box, and she remained motionless. What I saw in this gift box was a string of sparkling gemstone necklaces, which were delicate and beautiful, extremely extravagant, and matched Anna's aura. Don't look at it so small, the price is as high as 9 million Bailey, and it is carved by a famous jewelry master in 1 year. It also has a nice name, God's Starlight. It is said that there are only 2 in the world. An absolute treasure. And the reason why Anna was so pleasantly surprised was because of this necklace, which she had been interested in for a long time, but never had time to buy it. Never thought that Shajirching actually bought it back for her. HMPH, you still have some conscience. Anna happily followed behind Shajirching and left like a little follower. On this day, Shajirching was still basking in the sun, but a news suddenly came, forcing him to dispel the idea. Our Chamber of Commerce was detained in Flower Kingdom. Hearing the news, Shajirching couldn't help but be a little surprised, and then set off with the only free Zoro. Hey, why are you taking me out to sea? I'm very busy with training, don't you know? If it was someone else, he would be happy to be taken out to sea by Shajirching, but only Zoro would feel irritable and even talk back to Shajirching. Ah, Zoro, can't you look at me as your boss, be polite to me, and let me feel the majesty of being a boss. Hearing Zoro's words, Shajirching couldn't help wiping the cold sweat on his forehead helplessly and said, Sorry, I can't. Zoro refused, and then went on to exercise. What a training madman, no wonder his talent is not high, but his strength is so strong. Seeing Zoro working so hard, Shajirching couldn't help sighing, and then, she gave Zoro a help from Vivi. Ah! Zoro, who I saw, was suddenly covered with thunder and lightning, and then he screamed out. Asshole, one day, I will cut you. Zoro roared angrily, his expression like a beast, excited and angry. Chapter 300 Who gave you the courage? I'm waiting. Lying on the mast with Erlang's legs crossed, Shajirching said nonchalantly, and continued to close his eyes and rest. It will definitely cut you. Zoro's weak voice came faintly. Needless to say, the voyage on the sea is naturally boring. So, in order to get rid of boredom, Shajirching chose Zoro, the famous name, Exercise Zoro. Not to mention, Zoro actually practiced against Shajirching with great interest, naively thinking that Shajirching really wanted to help him improve his swordsmanship. Therefore, no matter how abused by Shajirching, he never doubted Shajirching's purpose. Just paper can't hold fire. Shajirching's conspiracy will be discovered one day. So, you bad old man, I believe in your evil. On this day, Zoro, who was covered in injuries and sweat, was lying on the deck, as if he just realized that he had been deceived. Nah, you're only reacting now, it's too late, don't worry about it, how bad it hurts your body. Shajirching took out his ears and said indifferently. Then, he looked forward, and the Flower Kingdom was already in sight. Flower Kingdom, let me see, what the hell are you guys, you dare to detain my people and my goods. You are really brave, Shajirching said in a low voice. Just when Shajirching was thinking like this, in the Flower Kingdom Palace. Your Majesty, do you really want to offend the Thunder Hunter like this? A middle-aged man who looked like a minister looked at the king on the throne and persuaded worriedly, that guy is. But before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted. Minister Zuo, needless to say, what about his Thunder Hunter? Our Flower Kingdom's Hapo Navy is not a vegetarian. If he dares to come, I'm sure that he can't leave Flower Kingdom. Others are afraid of him, but I'm not afraid of him, it's just a young man, how powerful he can be, and it's not rumored. Flower Kingdom said with a face full of indifference, his tone of domineering is beyond doubt. But, after all, he is a big pirate with a bounty of 800 million, not ordinary. When Minister Zuo heard the words, he persuaded again, but he was interrupted again in the middle of his words. I think his 800 million bounty has a lot of water. I think it's just that he took advantage of the sea's restraint on devil fruits to get him a bargain. If it were me, it would be nice to give him a bounty of 300 million. If he could have 800 million, it wasn't because Marine gave it for Whitebeard's sake. The king sneered, as if Shah Ching's powerful achievements were in his mouth, and they were not worth mentioning at all. Besides, you don't know how important that batch of goods is to us. It can definitely make our strength go to the next level. No matter how powerful his Thunder Hunter is, he is only Shichibukai, and we are a member country of the world government. He will never dare to touch us, unless he wants to be surrounded and suppressed by Marine, and he will not be called Shichibukai. The king said this with such confidence, as if everything would definitely go according to his ideas. But, after all, he has a fierce reputation, in case. After hearing this, Minister Zuo always felt uneasy in his heart, and wanted to persuade again, but just as he said it, he was interrupted impatiently by the King of Flower Kingdom.